All right, what am I looking at here? Okay, welcome to twitch.tv/lpikachon. My name is Rodrigo, as always. I am joined by my sidekick Smokey the Smoke Detector. We are going to be playing Pokemon Scarlet today. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, hello, future people. So yeah, it's been a while. I just kind of got into a weird streak of not being able to, or of being either busy or dead on a Wednesday. So, um, well, Lagnus is here with his favorite quote. I stand by that, which is why I probably will never be employed by Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so let's see what I have here. Okay, so I figured what we could do is just clear some raids, and that way we don't have to involve any randos. If you guys have Scarlet and Violet, and I know that it just came out and a lot of people aren't that far along with the game, we could potentially, like, you guys could potentially jump into my raids, but obviously no pressure. I know a lot of people are like at work, so don't pull out your Switch at work and get fired, okay? Let's see. Legna says, glad to see you're not knocked out. I've heard some of your woes. Yeah, I've had some health issues, and then also we got hit by like a big snow event. So, oh, by the way, big spoilers for Scarlet and Violet because traversal is definitely something that you unlock later. But yeah, so we had a lot of snow. One day we got a lot of snow, and there was just kind of lots of stuff that I needed to do that got kind of pushed back because of it. So it was, oops, did not mean to run into that little dog. But the important thing is we're back together now. We're all hanging out, playing video games, and watching me be so-so at them. Hang on a second. Hey, Harvestry.
Glad to see you live again, Rodrigo.
That's right. Like that Nosferatu from the animation, I am back from the dead. So I appreciate the sub. Yeah. Thank you for that sub. It's good times. Yeah, it's good to be back. I had been wanting to, this game came out a few weeks ago, so ever since it came out, I've kind of wanted to play it on stream. Oh, a good Zangoose. Okay, so let me tell you what is.
Welcome back, Rodrigo, in your new and improved mortal form.
Yes, thank you, Horsepawn Mine. I appreciate the sub and I appreciate the welcome back. It's glad. I'm glad to. I guess I'm glad to hear that you guys missed the stream a little bit. I'm just like I don't know if people care or whatever. But yeah, I know you guys are great. Okay, so I've already beaten the regular game. My Pokedex is pretty close to complete. So what I'm doing right now is just going on raids so that I can build up resources so that I can have strong Pokemon to go on raids. I know that sounds kind of recursive, and it is, but it's taken me in Sword and Shield, I have like tons of resources, right? If I want if I'm like, I want this Pokemon to be like top notch right now, I can just dump a bunch of resources onto it and it'll just be really good. Uh, in Scarlet and Violet, I don't have that Empire yet, and I don't know if I will because raids I think are actually both more difficult and more lucrative, so it's harder to farm them. But I'm trying. So this is my team right now. These are the Pokemon that I've built up. They're all level 100. Their EVs are maxed out. Their IVs are maxed out. So they're good enough for competitive. So they're good enough for raids. First off, we have my Slowking, then Ordog, my Gudra. Some of these guys, well, two of these guys, Ordog and CEO Kufo, I caught during the game. And while I was playing the game, my naming convention was anagrams of the characters. So Ordog is an anagram of Gudra, and CEO Kufo is an anagram of Fuecoco, which is the version that I got, right? So I would get a Pokemon, and whenever I got it, I would name it an anagram of that. Is it an anagram? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, an anagram. Words that are made up of the same letters, just rearranged. But everybody else, Postgame Poe, Scoop, and Sweetie, those guys came after the postgame, so they don't have the same name, like the same weird naming convention. So let's go into a raid, and I'll try to explain what's going on as it happens. We're gonna get some NPCs on this raid, so we won't be holding back anyone who's like trying to like log on to a raid and beat it. Let's see. Likeness says some of my adventures can be seen in Discord. So much food, and it was good food. No odd Rubens. Oh, that's good. Oh, by the way, that Discord is here. You can go to the Major Spoilers Discord, which is the only Discord that I really go to. I got to a couple others now, but I definitely don't talk in them very much. Okay, so this is a raid. 4 Pokemon against a terrestrialized Pokemon. Raise your hand if you don't know what terrestrialization is. Okay. So what terrestrialization is the Pokemon gets they turn into, like, they're made of crystal, and then they get a funny hat, and that hat tells you what they've terrestrialized into. So this Zangoose is now a fire type. That means that they're not a normal type anymore, like Zangoose usually is, and in fact, I guess these are actually timed, so I should do stuff. He's not a normal type anymore, but he still gets stab with normal type moves. So when you terrestrialize a Pokemon to a different type, they still get a bonus to attack with the moves of the type they originally are. So Zangoose is a normal type, so he still gets a bonus to attack with normal type moves, even though now he's a fire type and also gets a bonus to attack with fire type moves. If you terrestrialize a Pokemon into a type that they already are, then they get an additional bonus, right? So Famzionk, hey, thank you for the follow. Famzy0NK, I don't know. Okay, so we've busted this Zangoose. Now we can catch it. And in these raids, the catch rate is 100%. So you can throw any ball and it'll catch them in any ball. The difficulty of the raids is actually beating the Pokemon, and I know that this thing I just didn't seem difficult, but this is a 4-star raid. In Sword and Shield, when we were doing Dynamax raids, those raids went up to 5 stars. These raids go up to technically 7 stars for special events, but they go up to 6 stars normally. And a 6-star raid gives you lots of good items, but it's also more difficult. Like it's actively difficult. Like in Sword and Shield, we got to a point where like raids really weren't difficult. Like you would lose I would lose one raid like every 100 raids maybe if we like really screwed up with like a my is it Milotic that has that ability that like pumps up its stats. So we kept hitting it with like the wrong thing, and its stats just kept going up and up and up, and it destroyed us. Okay. So we cut the Zangoose. We're not going to give it a nickname right now. We're just going to put it in our boxes. So let's see where the next raid is. Oh, it's all the way down here. Let's see. At the start of Harvestry says at the start of the semester I was worried I would miss your streams as I had in-person classes every Wednesday afternoon. Small comfort that I haven't missed your streams in the meantime, though of course I'm sad it was for rough circumstances. Yeah, well, I guess it worked out. Lagnus says, last Wednesday I sat by my kitchen table yelling Mana Surge to try and capture some of the magic. Yes, we'll return to Mana Surge at some point. Harvestry says, in the meantime I mentally voiced Professor Jacques with Rodrigo's voice as the vibes seemed to fit. Yeah, okay. I could see that. And it was a nice in-between. Okay, that works. Lagnus says, only thing I know about Pokemon is that Petunia now rules the world and Pikachu is the cute one. That's true. Both of those things are true. Horseman Mind says, oh, I didn't know they kept their normal stab. Yeah, they do. That's actually one of the things that makes Terrasolizing so strong. And it's one of the ways in which, people are saying that, like, at least for this generation, they've fixed the normal type. Or not the normal type, the ice type. Because you can go into a raid with a strong ice type, like Terrasolize it into, like, steel or fairy, and it basically loses all of its weaknesses and replaces them with like a ton of resistances, and so you're able to basically do that without you can have an ice type now that doesn't have all the problems, right? Ampo Gamer says, man, I'm getting 4 ads. Yeah, sorry about that. I think that's a new thing that Twitch is doing. Snowstorm helps ice a lot too. Yep, that too. Snowstorm now makes ice types more defensive, which is nice. Okay, so this is Wiglet. No, this is Wug Trio. So here's a good example. This is a 4-star raid, so it's not going to give us too much trouble, I don't think. But if you look up in the top right corner, that tells you what type what its Terra type is, right? So this is a grass type Wug Trio. That means that it, you treat it like a grass type for its defenses, and it has Stab, which is same type attack bonus, with water moves, which are its original moves, and grass moves. So if I was to say, take my Skeledirge, right? That means that I would still potentially get in trouble because this grass type is going to have strong water type moves, right? Which might take out my guy. And it's the same thing the other way. You can't just bring something in that's going to be strong against water because it's a grass type. So its defenses are going to be keyed to grass types. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Scoop, my Setitan, which, doesn't resist water but also doesn't take double damage from it, I think. I'll try that. Again, this is going to be a 4-star raid. It's not like all of my Pokemon are pretty powerful, so it shouldn't give us too much trouble anyway. Harvestry says Snowstorm helps eyes a lot too. I do wish they had gone how we discussed on stream a while back with more ice moves that do freeze dry. Oh, what freeze dry does against water? Yeah, basically turn ice type into a sniper. I'm okay with this. The what this does is it makes more ice types more viable. I think our fix from back a few months ago would make ice types would make individual ice types more powerful. Whereas this kind of powers up ice types as a whole. See, I got it in one hit. Yeah, so this is one of the new Pokemon. This is Wug Trio. It's a convergent evolution of Doug Trio, is the idea here, right? So we've done divergent evolutions with the regional variants, right? So Alolan Raichu and regular Raichu are divergent evolutions. These are convergent evolutions where you have the same Pokemon or Pokemon that look alike even though they're not actually related is the idea, which is something that happens in nature with real animals. Boing. Alright, so let's talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. How does it compare to, for example, I guess the main comparison is going to be to Sword and Shield. I guess first off, I should say this. I have not, like, in any way encountered, like, any huge game-breaking bugs except one, which is that I've had some raids just like freeze, where nobody can do anything. Or freeze on the way in, where like it just stays on basically this screen, and then nothing happens for like 20 minutes, and I had to restart the game. Other than that, and that's only happened once or twice. Other than that, I haven't encountered the same bugs that everybody else has. So I feel like my review of it is very forgiving of that stuff, because I've played like Fallout games. So it's like one thing that happens frequently is that like, yeah, it's like sometimes your character will look like, or your writing Pokemon will disappear. Shusty says, hi, I want to offer promotions of your channel viewers, followers, chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto on, incredibly flexible and convenient. Order management panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it off, customize. Go to dodgehype.com. Do not go there, guys. Yeah, do not go there. Right, that's an ad. Don't do it. Thank you, Ample Gamer. Yeah, definitely don't. We do get people of all levels of expertise here, so if you're new to Twitch, don't click on that. I'm not clicking on it. Okay, let's. So right off the bat, I haven't experienced the same level of problems that a lot of other people seem to have been experiencing. So there's that, right? So take that with a grain of salt, because I haven't seen as bad bugs as everybody else for some reason. This seems to be a thing. Some people are getting lots of bugs. Some people are getting almost no bugs. So that's definitely an issue. Harvestry, no. Horsepointman says, I also haven't encountered game-breaking bugs, though the number of not quite breaking but exceptionally annoying bugs is quite high. Lagna says, duh, Rodrigo's already famous. He's been at a snake convention. I have been at a snake convention. On TV, yep, definitely. So yeah, let's... yeah, so that said, I haven't... And why did I go? Why did I go with a ground type? I just got done talking about how like this is a water type and it's gonna cause problems. But it's okay. It's a 4-star, so I should be able to just like wipe the floor with it, hopefully. Um, so okay. What's new in Scarlet and Violet? Obviously, the big news is that it's an open world game. So, it's very much in the style of Breath of the Wild as far as sort of what prevents you from going places. And yeah, what prevents you from going places is the fact that you basically can't climb and you can't swim for a while. So you are limited by bodies of water and mountains from the places you can go. But there are lots of places you can go early on. There's basically 2 directions that you can take right off the bat. You can go left or you can go right. And they're both viable and they're both fine. So, they're saying like play how you want, go whatever way you want. That's mostly true, but you are going to encounter Pokemon that are higher levels, right? So, and because it's a Pokemon game, you are limited as to what you can catch, or you are penalized for trying to catch something that's too high a level if you don't have the badges for it. And also that Pokemon is not going to listen to you. Now you can take your starter and level it up to 100. First and foremost, like do nothing but fight with your starter, and then give it a bunch of XP candy that you find around. Do I have a Luminion already? Well, let's catch it anyway. I think I do. And that Pokemon will still listen to you, which is a change from before, but I think that's been in the games for a little bit. Let's see. Harvester says, not much game breaking so far, though a lot of annoying smaller things. Frequent disconnects and refusal to reconnect. With even local multiplayer, with the switches in question 8 feet apart and no barriers, have plagued my partner and I. Yeah. It is still like it's like how are raids different from Sword and Shield? It's like this is how they're exactly the same. It is a pain in the butt to log on to an online raid. I'll show you guys here real quick. So I don't want to join any raids with rando, so I'm just going to show you the screen. I guess I already had it. Yeah, send it to my boxes. To the box with you. Let's see. I guess I have to go online to show you. Yay! Oh, there's a new... See, like, these are the fancy raids. Like, this Charizard raid is a 7-star raid. I haven't read up on it, but I'm guessing this Tyranitar and Salamence raid are also 7-star raids. So that's cool. So, when you go on a raid, or when you're trying to raid with people online, you get this screen. And I would say that whatever you pick... you have, like, in my experience, I would say there's a 70 to 80% chance that you're not going to get in with whatever you pick. It's just going to sit there for, like, several minutes, like 10 minutes, like, thinking about it, and then it's going to be like, I couldn't connect you. I'm sorry. So a lot of the time I'll just do random ones, because even if something comes up here that I want, I'm not going to be able to get into it. So that's very annoying. That's not better or worse. Actually, it is kind of a little bit worse than Sword and Shield. But actually not much worse. It was very difficult to get into online raids with Sword and Shield. The thing that this one has going is that it's easier to get in online raids with your friends with the Union Circle. But we're getting some reports here that some people are having trouble even with that. Let's see. Ample Gamer says Breath of the Wild was peak. Absolutely, and this game has people from the Breath of the Wild team. So if you like the traversal and you like the exploration, a lot of it is literally the same people from Breath of the Wild doing a lot of that. Horsepoint Man says, I found a cool raid I wanted to do with my friend. I turned on the internet and that raid then disappeared. Big bummer. Yeah, when did you do it? Did you do it at midnight? Because everything resets at midnight. So your dens will disappear at midnight. So you can like roll back the clock to make sure that it doesn't happen. But also you get a bunch of new raid dens at midnight. So just be careful with that stuff. Or if you go into your Switch and you click forward a day, it'll reset all mass outbreaks and all raid dens. Let's see. Harvester says, matchmaking with online raids has been about as much pain as Sword and Shield were. Yeah, almost identically bad. Like differently, like bad. Like the thing that's bad about it is different, but almost the same terrible experience, which is so annoying. Let's see. Rodimus says, how's it going? It's going good. You know, just playing the new Pokemon's game. Let's see. Harvester says, I did so much exploring before I even went to my second gym badge. Yeah, me too. That's the other thing is that, again, spoilers for the game, right? Like, I kind of want, like, the game's been out for a little bit. I want to explain it to you guys. If you look at the map, oh no, that is the map, okay. So you can expand the map. And so each one of these is like an individual thing to do, right? Some of these are the trainers. Some of these are like the team, like the evil team guys, which is Team Star in this. And some of them are like a different thing. But each one of these events gives you a badge, which then gives you access to other things. But only the gym leaders allow you to catch higher level Pokemon. So as you can see from this map, I went basically left and then up and then over and then back and then over again and then up one, and then I hit a wall because everything in that region there that says 11 is like level 50. So I hadn't leveled up quite enough. So you can see, you know, where the 6 is. I went over to that 7 and basically started working, like bouncing my way around that way. And it was actually a lot of fun to do it that way. There are, like, this world has, I know that there are like literally none in sight right now, but this world has tons of Pokemon, especially in the starting areas. They're just everywhere. And you can catch all kinds of Pokemon. So, like, the direction that you go also is going to influence your team because certain Pokemon only appear in certain places. So I went left and I ended up with a certain team. If I had gone right, it would have probably influenced what my team was as well. Give me the item. Okay, so now that we've talked about bugs and bad raid functionality, let's talk about the story. Is the story better than Sword and Shield? The answer is yes, 10,000%. Like, the story for, okay, a 5-star Hydreigon. Okay, let me finish my thought. The story for Sword and Shield doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's kind of boring, and literally the adults are like, oh, you shouldn't be fighting these fights. We'll go take care of it. Which is realistic, but also kind of antithetical to a Pokemon game. So, yeah, there's actually as you might have seen in the trailers, there are three interwoven storylines. So, if you've ever played Skyrim, you know how there was like a civil war in Skyrim, and also like the dragon stuff. Like, and they're both kind of main storylines with like multiple chapters. This game is like that. It has three, and they do intersect in some places. So that's fun and interesting. Um, and yeah, so it's like the story's real cute. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the characters that you meet. My biggest complaint is that Pokemon very clearly wants to be voiced, and it still doesn't have any voice acting. Um, when you look at something like Breath of the Wild, there's almost no one to interact with, right? So you don't need Breath of the Wild to be voiced, but it's still voiced. When you look at something like Animal Crossing is purposefully not voiced, right? Like done in such a way that you can hear like the little animals making their little animalese noises. Um, and it's still, you can still enjoy it because there's sort of a purposefulness, like an intentionality to it, that doesn't seem to be there in Pokemon. In fact, there's one part in Pokemon where you're actually traveling with other people. Oh, does it have levitate? Because that's going to be a real problem for me. Let's see if we can make it fall asleep. And the characters start talking to each other like it's Dragon Age, right? Or like Mass Effect. And but it's text. So I'm trying to like steer my characters around Pokemon and try to... Okay, so it does have levitate. Okay, so this was a bad choice. And it's going to make this fight take a very long time, so I might actually just run and try again with something else. This is my raid, and I'm not... All of those other people were in PC, so I'm not like bailing on anybody. Don't run away from raids that you're already in with like random people, because you'll screw them up, and also the game will penalize you. I think I've never done it, but it says that it will. Horsewoman says it actually may have been midnight. Yeah, it's probably because it was midnight. Everything resets at midnight. Harvester says you also lose an event raid when you log online and the event has passed. Yes. Rodimus says he tried to get the game but it was sold out. That's too bad. I just downloaded it directly. Like I don't bother with like physical media if I don't have to anymore. So that's probably bad. It'll probably like come back and bite me in the butt at some point, but that's just how I've been doing it. Harvester says I ended up with a good handful of Pokemon who wouldn't listen to me, and auto battle because I was several badges behind from the level at which I had caught them. Yeah, that happens. And that's the thing, is like they're like you can go whichever way you want, but in reality you kind of have to play all three storylines pretty close to simultaneously. You can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna do only the Team Star storyline, because it'll be pretty hard to get to some places, because the Magical Herb storyline, which is the third one, is how your Pokemon gains its mobility. So you literally can't do all of everything else first, because your Pokemon can't climb up walls, or can't glide, or can't swim. So you kind of still need to do them like 1, 1, and 1. Not quite that. You can do like 1 Herba Mystica, 2 gyms, 1 Team Star place. But then you should probably be getting back to like Herba Mystica, or do like another Team Star place, rather than getting back on the horse to do the gyms. So they do... It's like you are allowed to do whatever you want, but not quite. Let me save here. Voice acting would be cool, yeah. Oh no, I went directly into the thing. Let's see. Hardest said, or Ample Gamer says, yeah, but I feel like it would ruin the feeling of Pokemon. You think voice acting would ruin the feeling? Okay. I mean, that's fair. Um, Definitely it would if the voice acting wasn't good. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's a perfectly fair opinion to have. Harvester says, "Oh yeah, in spoilers area zero. Oh, spoilers area zero. During the story sequence, the text was going so cool, and that's exactly it. That's what I'm talking about. Is like these characters were like trying to were walking around, and their text of them like having a pretty fast conversation was coming up. So anytime that happened, I just had to like my character, I would just like drive him into a wall far away from other Pokemon so I could read what the other characters were saying. And once they were done talking, I'd be like, okay, I can move now because I wanted to see what they were saying. And it's like, well, if they were voiced, that wouldn't be an issue. Except, of course, for, deaf and hard of hearing people, which is fair. Like, the text, I think, should still be there. But yeah. I mean, voiced games have subtitles, right? Ligna says, I have never put a disc in my PS4. Good for you. Physical stuff just takes up space, and that costs money too. That's true. Storage costs money. Okay. Let's try it with instead of Sweetie and see how that goes. Sorry, guys. I'm just like blah 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 blah. Yep. Sorry about that. Um, so what was I saying? It doesn't matter. Harvester says they have leaned more into writing dialogue to express mannerisms and accents in some characters this time too. Like they're close, and I think yeah, it's like Pokemon is like constantly reinventing the wheel, right? Um, like it's like part of the reason why this game is as janky as it is because they are basically reinvent like their team is doing open world stuff and they don't have like the history doing it. So even if they bring other people in, it's still a little weak, and it doesn't work quite as well as other teams that have been doing open world games for a long time. Okay, we're going to terrestrialize this guy. We'll see if we don't get any bugs. Sometimes it bugs out and you don't see the full terrestrialization. So yeah, here's how it goes. Power up your crystal, and then you throw it at them, and they get all these crystals, and then they turn into crystal and they get this thing, and of course anytime it terrestrializes you gotta scream something. To me, my X-Men! Right? Because he's a psychic type. Oh boy. I'm gonna need to heal. Yep, sorry about that. Sorry, I was super muted, guys. I muted it so that you wouldn't hear me like chugging water, like but yeah, so I forgot to unmute it afterwards. Oh, by the way, Ampo Gamer, thank you. This music is by Game Chops. Here, actually, the link just came up. So if you wanted to listen to this music on your own time, you can follow that link and you can listen to Game Chops music. I don't think we're gonna win this one, guys. See, the raids are actually tougher. Like you actually have to like think about them. Yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna make it. That or I have to bring a bulkier Pokemon to take all this punishment. Maybe if I can break the shield, then the other characters will actually be able to do damage. Oh, no, but I got killed. So, yeah, we're not going to make it. So, yeah. Yeah, raids are tough. Like, this is a 5-star raid, right? Like, 4-star raids, like, the jump in difficulty from 4-star raids to 5-star raids is pretty high. And also, if you're playing with bots, they're not always very good. But also, if you're playing with randos, they're not always really good. I've been having this issue where I'll jump on a raid in someone else's is hosting, and oh, there's a Gyarados back there. I'll jump on a raid that someone else is hosting, and it'll be like a full team, besides me, of like Azumarils. If you don't know what Azumarill looks like, this is what Azumarill looks like. And I'm like, why are people fielding all of these Azumarils? And the thing is that Azumarill is actually a very powerful Pokemon. It's a really good Pokemon. But I'm like, why is everybody doing this? And then I realized that it's because a very popular YouTuber did a video and was like, you know, they had those Charizard raids where Charizard is a Terra Dragon type. So he's like, okay, this is the Pokemon you should take to this, and this is how you should build it, and this is how you should do its abilities. So there's a ton of like belly drum Azumarils going around, and it's a little annoying because belly drum is a difficult move to pull off properly. It basically eats like 3/4 of your life total, but spikes your attack all the way up. Like your attack goes as high as it can go, which I think is like 6 stages. So that's good, but most people don't then heal up or whatever. They just start attacking. And if the opposing Pokemon is fast, what happens a lot of the time is people do belly drum and then immediately get hit and die. And then they come back and they immediately do belly drum and then they get hit and die. And they're probably sitting there like, why isn't it working? And it's like, well, belly drum is like belly drum is kind of an advanced move. It's a move where it's a risk reward proposition. You can't just click belly drum to win. Let's see. Harvester says, there have been many raids where my partner and I dumped candies and TMs and nature mints to build specific counters just to take down those raids. Haha, it's been an interesting challenge, and I love the accessibility and switching things up on your Pokemon on the go. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Where, like, right now, it's like, yeah, right now the best Pokemon that I could use for this raid would have been Sweetie, right? Which is like this bulky and like very powerfully offensive dark type, or sorry, ground type, but it has Levitate. It's immune to ground type attacks. So then my next option is which it's not as bulky. It's just kind of a different Pokemon, and it's still good, and I'm gonna try it again. But I'm going to swap items. So I'm going to give him that, or give her that. And we'll try that again. And I think, does it no yawn? No, that's okay. That's another thing, is that in Sword and Shield, in raids, status effects were pretty much useless. They were pretty close to useless. Because the Dynamax shield that they would put up would prevent them from having their stats messed with, or have you like knock them, like make them fall asleep, or paralyze them, or whatever. So there was no point in having moves that did status effects. You just kind of had to go for damaging moves, except in a few cases where like maybe you had a Pokemon with Prankster, so you could actually hit the opposing Pokemon before they put up their shield. So yeah, you could actually do something like that. What else? Yeah, in this, it's actually extremely helpful to bring in Pokemon that can do status moves. Like, status moves are actually very good in raids. So, like, a lot of Pokemon in this generation learn Yawn. Yawn is very strong. Harvestry says, I have enjoyed the shiny encounter luck I've had in this game too. I have accidentally run into and caught 3 shinies before I got the shiny charm even, and a few more since. Yeah, I've caught 1 shiny, and there's something that's actually really aggravating to me about this game, which is that a lot of the new shinies are almost identical looking to the... Like, a lot of the new Pokemon, their shiny version is almost identical to the normal version. And when shinies spawn in the overworld, they don't flash and make noise like they did in Legends Arceus. So you have to spot them visually and be like, oh, that's a slightly discolored Pikachu. I think that's a shiny, right? So it's... actually, I probably could. There's a little stat in your your little gamer card in this game, and it says how many shinies you've encountered, and already it says that I have encountered 2 shinies, but I've only caught 1, and I've only remembered running into 1. So I'm like at some point I encountered a shiny, probably in a raid den, because in raid dens they don't sparkle either, and just probably beat it up and threw it away, or maybe caught it and it's like in my box, and I'm like, I missed it. Like, shinies not making noise is actually something that really annoys me. Ugh, everybody got knocked out, but I need to heal up because I don't want to lose. If you die, you lose your terrestrialization. We're doing okay. Just it's super effective. Oh, because it has dark type moves. That's why my hit points were going down so hard. I forgot that Hydreigon was a dark type. It's like if you look at, whatever is like I'm the one doing the most damage to the shield, but I have to heal. Yeah, especially if it if it powers up its attack. Let's see. The Terra Shield blocking all pure status move is stuff. Yeah, you got to do it early. Um, Tough attack moves with secondary effects that lower stats or inflict conditions are clutch. Then yeah. Oh, God. Now I'm in a heal loop, and I'm running out of time. I wonder if I have that berry that will let me just eat a dark type move. Whew. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Yep, we're kind of effed. Hers says yes. The shiny palette differences can be really frustrating. I really wish they had kept the Legends flourish and not purely relied on observation. Yeah. Hard says, "Do you evolve your shiny?" That might explain it. Oh, I did evolve it. Okay, all right. That's better. That makes me feel better that I didn't just completely miss having an encounter with a shiny. So yeah, I got a shiny Magikarp and evolved it into a Gyarados. Okay, so I don't have the... It's like... Yeah, so these 6 Pokemon are the only... are the only 6 Pokemon I have that are even strong enough to take on a raid this strong. So I'm kind of screwed. I think Titan maybe doesn't have any vulnerabilities here. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have a vulnerability to Poison, Dragon, or Dark. So we'll try it with Titan, and if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna skip it and go somewhere else. Yeah. Shiny Magikarp was nice. So what else? Obviously you're getting a look at raids. I love raids. There's this thing in this game called the Let's Go feature where you can have the front Pokemon of your party be out, and they will just fight other Pokemon without going into a menu battle type place. That is good. It's fun. It's fun to see. It's fun to use. It helps you if what you're trying to do is get items quickly. But the main issue with it is that, or the main issue that I have with it is that it's not very good. It's not, it's weirdly hard to aim at your Pokemon. If you're okay, Pokemon, I want you to go that way. A lot of the time it'll just be goes that way and completely misses the Pokemon that you wanted to get. The other issue is, of course, that yeah, that's nice. At least I'm not weak to anything this guy's throwing. I'm not strong against him either, but maybe the attrition will go my way this time. Do I wanna... I'm gonna try a cheer to go all out. I should probably save them to heal, but This will also mean that everybody else is doing more damage. So that'll be nice. That way I don't have to be like the only person dealing damage. It is cute. It's like the central mechanic of when you go up against Team Star, you throw your Pokemon to fight in Let's Go mode. And again, it kind of highlights how it's kind of a little bit undercooked. Like it's hard to control, it's hard to know, like you can just keep hitting the button and nothing will happen, and it's, you know, because maybe your Pokemon is like in the middle of an animation or doing something else. So it's kind of hard to control in a satisfying way. We'll Terrasilize next turn. Let's heal everyone. Okay, this time I didn't forget to turn my mic back on. Yeah, I thought that might be a possibility. So now I'm going to have to wait another turn to Terrasilize, which is annoying. The Starbase battles felt very unintuitive to me. Cool concept, but yeah, the control was wonky as heck. Yeah, like, good idea, right? Like, definitely good idea, Pokemon. This is fun. But this needed a little bit more time in the oven. Like, it needed another pass. Let it go! You know, because it's an ice type. Yeah, I'm going to try to come up with a different shout for every type. So, ice type is let it go. Ghost type is who you going to call. Fire type is be our guest, because I don't know if you remember, you get those like candlesticks. There's going to be a lot of Disney references. Disney is definitely a point of contact for a lot of people. Okay, gonna have to heal after this, but if I break the shield, then everybody else will also do more damage. So that's nice. And then I can throw a heal in here. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, this is a tough raid. Like, I think if I had, you know, 3 other players with me whose Pokemon were as, like, powered up as mine is, we'd be able to tear through it pretty quick. But they're hard to solo. It's like, you know, something that wasn't true for, do I use Avalanche or Ice Spinner? Let's use Ice Spinner, because that's guaranteed damage there. Just need to get in before the time runs out. Oh no! Okay. Let me get one hit in. Let me get my last hit in. Spin around. Got it. It's like I don't need another Hydreigon, but like after a fight that like was like that difficult, I'm like I should just catch it, right? And again, because catch rates are 100% in raids, from what I've seen, you can just throw any ball. So I've been catching like a disproportionate amount of the Pokemon in my collection right now are in Pokeballs, because I'm like, I'm just gonna use the cheapest ball. That just goes to show you who I am. Is like, yes, I do like catching Pokemon in like fancier balls, but also I'm like, I don't want to keep paying for this.
Welcome back, Rodrigo.
Saint JW, Thank you very much for the sub. I really appreciate it. It's good to see all of you guys back. Only the central head has a brain. It's very intelligent, but it thinks only of destruction. That's a pretty good dex entry. Alright. Well, we finally got that poison dragon. So let's see what else is around. That is sensible when you're catching non-iconic raid critters. Yeah, it's just like... It just seems like it deserves to be caught. Rah. Rah, rah, rah. Boing. I do like stuff like this, right? Where it's like, here's Chansey hanging out with a bunch of Pommy, or Pomo, or whatever. Ooh. See, okay. Something that we can talk about. You might notice that all of my raid Pokemon actually aren't cross terrestrialized. So is Terra Psychic, right? So it's already Psychic and it terrestrializes into Psychic. Ordog is Dragon. Skeletor is Fire. Post-game Poe is Ghost. Scoop is Ice, and Sweetie is Ground. And the reason for that is that raids are kind of a slog, and like dealing lots of damage and being able to take lots of damage is important. So as much as I want to mess around with it, I've actually come up with like at least one way of messing around with it. So I'll tell you guys. I forgot. It's like I'm gonna change my Pokemon, and then I forget to change my Pokemon because I'm talking. So I'm just gonna run away because there's no point in throwing a Psychic type at a Dark type. But here's the thing. It would probably be a good idea to catch this Pokemon because eventually it turns into Tyranitar, and Tyranitar is Rock Dark. So actually catching this Dark Pupitar is a good idea. Because mostly what I'm doing is raiding, right? I do have, like, again, I have an idea for something that'll work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I have the resources, and we'll get into resources later, I'm going to catch or train up a Dreadnought, which is the big snapping turtle from the last game from Sword and Shield, if you remember. And so that Pokemon gets an ability called like Strong Jaw, I think, which powers up all bite moves, and it learns Crunch. So instead of catching a Dark type, I'm going to try to get a Dreadnought with Strong Jaw, teach it Crunch, get it maybe like the Dark Shades, and that should put it at, or like actually maybe slightly above, like Dark Stab. And then when it gets time to do it in a raid, I'll terrestrialize it into a Dark type. So I've been trying to like do all the math to be like, can I like breed or train a Pokemon that can cross terrestrialize into a different type and will still be useful in a raid. Because I've tried it. That Gudra used to be a Terra Fire type, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like, I can use this for grass types or whatever. But it just wasn't doing the amount, especially and once the shield goes up. Two things are true. One, you need to do a lot of damage to crack it, and it takes extra damage from terrestrialized Pokemon using a super effective move. So, yeah, with that Gudra, shields would go up, and if I wasn't ready to terrestrialize, I was, shooting it with like Dragon Pulses, which do lots of damage, but the shield didn't care until I was terrestrialized. With this setup with the Dreadnought, I think it will actually deal enough dark damage. Because Dreadnought also has a really good attack stat. Yeah. To the box with you. Let's see. Hard says one thing I have really enjoyed is sometimes you'll see a few wild Pokemon just running across the field, like they have somewhere to be and something to do. Yeah. I felt really bad the other day. One second. I felt really bad the other day because there was like a Saucebuck, I think that's what it's called, and a group of Deerling. And the Saucebuck was like running across a field, and the Deerling were follow it. And I was like, oh, I don't have a Saucebuck, so I like run in, fight it, catch it, and then it pops us back into the or like the camera pans back into the overworld because all fights are in the overworld, but it kind of like pans back to like a non-fight distance, and there's just a bunch of Deerling like looking around, like looking really confused, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a monster. So that wasn't great, but it's kind of fun. Sinja Jolie says overall impressions of this one, I like it a lot. Like the criticisms, like you can pretty much export the criticisms that I had from Sword and Shield to this one. Like, it's undercooked. It like it is there's lots of little bugs, there's lots of like little issues. You lose some functionality, getting into raids is still difficult. Past all that though, it's actually a really fun game. Like, if you're a Pokemon person, if you like Pokemon, it's pretty hard not to like this game. It really gives us a lot of stuff that I think people have wanted for a long time. And it takes away almost nothing. It's actually pretty easy. Every item, or almost every item, can be bought at a store. So, like, if you didn't find the stupid, like, Focus Sash that was, like, hidden underneath a rock, you can just go buy it at the store. It's fine. This is a normal type, so we'll go with post-game Poe. So, post-game Poe, right, and Annihilate. Like, Annihilate is really ferocious in this game. I mean, it's brand new to this game, but it has a move that keeps getting stronger the more times it's hit, and it keeps counting. Even if your Pokemon gets killed and you bring it back, like, the counter doesn't reset. It doesn't reset until like the whole fight is over. So it actually deals a ton of damage. I take it in to fight other ghost types, and it just like does so much damage. I have carried raids with Annihilate. It's very strong. Harvey says Terra typing allows Pokemon to moonlight as different types for short bursts, and that's neat. Yeah, I'm a fan of it. It's a really good idea, and I think it's going to be really impactful in. Nice. I think it's going to be really impactful in the VGC. and it's like it's helpful in the game, and it makes for interesting boss fights. So people have been really tied up to talking about, or people have been mainly talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in terms of the bugs and glitches and things like that. But there's a lot to this game that's very interesting that's getting unfortunately buried by that. People are talking about terrestrialization, but not only is terrestrialization a good and interesting mechanic, the game itself uses it in very good and interesting ways. Again, these are spoilers, but every gym leader has a type, like they always have. Um, but their A's, so, gym leaders traditionally have an ace Pokemon, which is a Pokemon that's just very strong, right? Their ace Pokemon is not the right type for their gym. So, for example, I think we've seen this in the previews, the grass type gym leader throws out a Sudowoodo. The grass type gym leader throws out a Sudowoodo, which is a rock type, but then terrestrializes it into a grass type. And the reason it's like, first off, it's like, oh, ha ha ha, finally Sudowoodo gets to be a grass type, right? That's funny. But also, it's a good move because there's a chance that if you're going into a grass gym, you're bringing your fire starter or any fire type Pokemon. And so this Sudowoodo is still a grass type, so it has become a grass type, so it's like still legal. You're still gonna hit it really hard with your fire type, but now it has stab rock type moves, right? So it's going to hit your fire type really hard. It makes them so you have to think about them, right? It's like I'm trying to think of another version of that. I can't remember, but a lot of the aces that the gym leaders throw out when they terrestrialize them, I was like, that's really smart. That's really fun. That makes it a more interesting fight that you have to think about harder, which is something that no one has said about gym challengers, about gym leaders ever, right? They're like the most dependably sort of boring thing about Pokemon is that, okay, well, I'm going into the grass gym, I'm going to bring like a fire type and a bug type, and that should be enough. And usually it is. Let's see. Harvest says Palmot with its Iron Fist hidden ability can make use of plenty Terra types with learning all of the elemental punch moves, especially with the punching glove, which also rules. Yeah, so that's another nice thing about terrestrialization, is that it makes you think about abilities that have been around differently. You're like, oh, now I can use these two things to make this other thing. Like, terrestrialization creates this new sort of like field in the game that you have to think about, and it casts a new light on items, on Pokemon abilities, on Pokemon moves. It's good. It's really strong in a way that Dynamax was very fancy and showy, and I love it. I really love Dynamax. But you don't have to think about Dynamax as hard as you do about terrestrialization. Like terrestrialization, you have to think about it. Like if you're in a battle with someone and they terrestrialize their Pokemon into something weird, you have to be like, oh no, like what's gonna happen now? What did I miss? What did I not think about? It's fun. It's interesting. Harvester says, oh yeah, it's very fun to ruin families like that. Yeah. In the right Pokemon selection screen too, not being able to change your moves or held items is also frustrating. Yeah, that's something that I have like this small group of like friends that I've been playing with, and something we started talking about is like, yeah, I wish there was like a deployment screen, and definitely at least items, right? You should at least be able to trade items. Like, I can see somebody being like, well, you shouldn't be able to change your moves or whatever, but items at least you should be able to trade. Um, but it would be nice if you could, like, yeah, just basically have access to your Pokemon and change it and teach it moves or whatever. Harvestry loves Annihilate. Yeah, Annihilate rules. Hardy says, ooh, I had my ape use focus energy in a raid to crit my partner's anger point crocodile, who then got maxed out and took a 5-star mom. Oh, I'm guessing that's Mon. Mon from 85% health down to nothing without ever getting the shield up. It was glorious. Yeah, you can get stuff like that. Conversely, you can use things like Mousehold's Population Bomb or Beat Up, right? So basically, if you go in on a raid, and especially if you go in on a raid with somebody else, they can turn around and use Beat Up on your Annihilate, and they'll hit it 6 times if they have 6 Pokemon in their party. And so your Rage Fist will go to the max, which I think 5 times is as high as it can go. But it becomes like something stupid like base 500, and yeah, you just start like, yeah, it's like first turn. If you're piloting Annihilate, first turn, your friend uses Beat Up on you, and you pump the and you use the cheer that pumps up your attack, and then next turn you just hit something once and splatter into the wall. It's pretty good. Or even taking the same direction, choosing an ace with really advantageous abilities and moves, more so than they did, would have been a good direction. Yeah, lots of stuff that you can do with it. Terra Battle Beals and strategies have been an excellent switch up. Multi-hit moves are great for that. Yeah, one thing I have liked is Polteageist that got with weak armor and skill swapping that got that onto something whose defense you want to lower. That's a good idea. That's smart. Yeah, I like that. So another thing that people aren't talking about, again, because we're so busy talking about bugs, is this weird thing where you actually can't pause this game. Like, right now I'm in like the menu screen or whatever, and I can select things. But as you can see, this little, what is that? It's not a Flaffy. Flaffy is the smallest one. This little guy here came up to us while I was in this menu, and if I like get off the menu and like move over here and start the menu again, right? It's still moving, and that's not just an idle animation. It'll walk up to you, it'll leave. Pokemon can't attack you while you're in the menu. So that's actually kind of a thing, is like if a Pokemon is charging at you and you don't have a way to get out of there, just open the menu and they'll run through you. And same thing with the map, right? You can, if you open the map, that also basically makes you intangible. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Like for example, there's a Pokemon that's like a tumbleweed, and so its evolution is like a bigger tumbleweed. So I'm at a Pokemon Center and I see like the evolution like just like running like around like down a particular path, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that guy, and I'm like finishing up what I'm doing at the Pokemon Center and like saving the game, and it's still going. So I'm like, bah! I'm like trying to like get on my Monster horse and like chase after it. I don't know. It's kind of a fun situation. It's kind of interesting. It's weird. It's weird. It's interesting that you can't pause this game. The only way to pause the game is to go into the, is to suspend it. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that I'm guessing was put there so that they don't have to change it when you're playing with other people. Like you can open your menu without pausing the universe for everybody else. But that's interesting, and it's something that I'm not hearing people talk about. Oh, I guess I should also talk about like these. You can fight Terra Pokemon in the overworld as well, not just in raids. So like this is a Terra type. This is a Terra. This Garchomp is going to chase after me, but definitely Terrastalize. What do I have up front? We'll go ahead and fight it. Yeah, this should beat Ice beats ground, right? So this should beat both of its types, unless it terrestrializes into a third type, which would be interesting. It did, but it doesn't matter. We're still gonna should be able to wreck it because it's probably like level 50 tops. Okay, level 65. That's actually pretty big. Oh yeah, water resist ice. So body slam. Well, we'll terrestrialize it and just use the extra damage from terrestrialization to get it back to even, I think. Rodimus says, definitely need to get this game. Yeah, it's fun. I like it a lot. Let it go! How dare you? La 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 la. I'm not gonna catch it. I already have a Garchomp, and yeah, I don't need an. And I think I actually have a I think I actually have a Terra Water Garchomp, so I'm not catching this guy. What else? What else is interesting and different about this game that people aren't really talking about? People do talk about how they are kind of lukewarm on sandwiches, and I feel that. Like sandwiches are can be pretty important in the post game, especially if you're shiny hunting. But once you figure out a good way to make a sandwich that gives you shiny power or sparkling power or whatever. It's not letting me climb up this rock. There we go. Ooh, an ominous black steak. Once you have once you get some recipes down that you like using, it's not as big of a problem. You just have to like keep remembering to go and buy those ingredients, or you can also spend some time online and find like a store that gives you the type of power you want, and just anytime you need to use it, go there to like a restaurant, eat something there, get that bonus, and then you don't have to bother with any of that. Okay, so this is sparkling because this is a 6-star raid. So let's go check out what's in there. I can probably attempt it, but there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to beat it on my own with stuff. So I would either have to call randos on the internet or team up with somebody to beat it. So we'll see what it is. 6-star Ghost Mimikyu. Yeah, let's this is gonna be something. I'm gonna try with my Annihilate. Like they're both gonna be weak towards each other. So we'll see. We'll see if this works. Harvester says, or Rodimus says, definitely need to get this game. Oh, I think I read that already, but yeah, it's fun times. Harvestry says sandwich making would have been nicer if it worked with the touchscreen as well. Yeah, what the heck. Also, like, okay, like I feel like mechanics need to be motivated. Like, why is our protagonist so incredibly inept at making a sandwich, right? Because the controls are difficult. And it's like, you get like graded on whether you land the ham properly. And it's like, why? Yep, let's open it with a Rage Fist. It's just gonna... Yeah, let's see how hard it hits me. Pretty hard. But hopefully here, once we pop his disguise... The problem with doing raids on your own is that the other guys almost never cheer. So I'm definitely gonna have to. Well, I could probably go one more without cheering, but everybody else is also in trouble, so we'll do a cheer after this, assuming Mimikyu doesn't just immediately wipe everybody now. Yeah, paralyzing a raid Pokemon is huge, and again, something that you basically weren't able to do in Sword and Shield, like, because the shield protected them from all status conditions. There was like no reason to even try it. In this game, I would say it's like a vital part of everything. Is like there are a few like just absolute units out there that are fielding Umbreons, and they just get into a raid and start throwing like debuffs on the Pokemon, and like because I want to have, you know, mainly Pokemon that are strong, that can carry the raid if they need to. I'm very happy to have like a random Umbreon pop in. Like, there's probably some people that are just fielding Umbreons who just are going to attack. But the few people, and I've gotten it a couple of times, who are like, okay, I'm an Umbreon, I'm here to cause havoc. I'm like, thank God. It like gets a little bit of heat off of me. Should I just let it kill me? Or should I cheer? My terrestrialization is ready, so I'm going to try a cheer. And hopefully this will also help everybody else. It does suck that like you're the only one, like bots don't cheer. So it sucks to be the only one that does it, because, you know, it sucks to have your hit points restored, and then the enemy immediately turns around and uses an attack, and it brings it back. So I'm just gonna let it bust me up, and then I'm gonna come back terrestrialized. We're not completely effed on time, so yeah, okay. Sandwich physics are the most challenging boss of Scarlet and Violet. Absolutely. Like, it's like it goes like 6-star raids, making a sandwich 5-star raids is like the hardest thing in Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, it's like tier list of what's hardest in Scarlet Violet. Like, hardest thing, 6-star raids, then below that sandwich physics, then getting out of your own house at the beginning of the game because of all the bugs. Who you gonna call? And yeah, 6-star raids, sandwich, getting out of your own house, 5-star raids. Yeah, you see that? Like, you need 50 Terra Shards to be able to terrestrialize a Pokemon. Oh, this Mimikyu is gonna go before me and he's just gonna kill me. Okay. Everybody, like, cross your fingers or pray to whatever you believe in that the paralysis stops him from doing that. Otherwise, we're gonna lose this raid. Oh, I think it did. Oh, I think the paralysis slowed him down so it doesn't go before me. Urgh. We did it. Like, I think I already have a a Ghost Mimikyu from a 6-star raid, but this is just so good. Moves that lower the raid Pokemon stats have so much mileage too. Previously, I would have never thought to use Scary Face or Screech. Absolutely. Yeah, Screech is huge. But Terra Raids are uniquely friendly to these. Acid Spray is invaluable against non-steel types too. Yeah. Yeah, totally, right? It's like, again, like, God bless you, Umbreon players who are, like, jumping in and just, like, Screech immediately. Like, good job, thank you. Like, I will try to deal... The damage that you're not dealing to this Pokemon is, like... When you think about, like, damage as, like, an equation, is, like, that Umbreon is, like, the most effective healer in the game. Because it's, like, preventing you from taking so much potential damage from that raid Pokemon. I don't know if I'm getting too into the weeds here, but I don't know. I like this game. Let's send it to my boxes. I guess I'm kind of curious to look at it. I've gotten perfect IV Pokemon from raids before, from like 6-star raids, where like all of their stats are perfect. I kind of want to see where this Mimikyu lands. I think this is it. 75 at level 6 for 6 stars. This might be another one. Because I literally have another Mimikyu that's Terra Ghost from a raid like this. But they're so cute. Prankster Sableye with priority clutch status moves is also tight, and it can learn a good variety of support too. Yeah, I one of these friends that I play with has a Prankster Grimmsnarl, and they mostly use it to set up like light screens and reflects, which are also very good. But yeah, definitely. I am. It's like I get it, and it's fine, but like a lot of the times I miss just like the massive resources that I had in Sword and Shield. This place is weird. There's probably some like ancient Pokemon buried somewhere in here, isn't there? Like back over here. Oh, maybe not. What was I talking about? I forgot. Forgot Grimmsnarl got Prankster. Yeah. Yeah, Grimmsnarl is very strong. Like, Grimmsnarl has both Prankster and it can learn Sucker Punch. So, it's just like a very disruptive Pokemon if you want to build it that way. Oh, can I actually make it up here? Oh, maybe. I'll just go on the outside and climb downish if I need to. Yeah, so I've also as this is all happening, I'm like trying to fill up my Pokédex. Raids help a lot. If you like raids, like you can get a lot of Pokemon, and you can get like version exclusive, like the opposite versions exclusive Pokemon from raids. Um, I'm trying to remember. There's some version exclusive Pokemon that I got in a raid, but I keep forgetting which ones are version exclusive. The only ones I remember are Gulpin and Swalot because I was like, oh, I want to run a Swalot on my like first run through at, but they're only in Violet. Let's see. Harvester says I have a Florges that I raid with that takes on special focus threats really well. Pollen Puff to heal allies or hit for bug damage is great. Draining Kiss to keep it alive. Support status move of choice. It is sweet. Yeah. I like that a lot. Like in like I made support Pokemon for Gmax raids, right? But you don't need support Pokemon for Gmax raids, right? I made like an Alcremie that just like decorates people every turn. I made what else did I make? I made a Meowstic that like puts up like spends some time like putting up walls or whatever. So I made support Pokemon, but you don't need them. I made them because I thought it would be fun. And it was. It's fun to play them. Sometimes you go in and like nobody has a beefy enough Pokemon to like actually poke a hole in the Dynamax Pokemon, and you're like, oh well, it doesn't matter how many light screens I put up, we're just gonna lose, or this is gonna stall out and then we're gonna lose. But most of the time, you could do it and it was fine. But here, like, you kind of need, like, if you're taking on 5 and 6 star raids and 7 star raids when they appear, you need to think about your not just your Pokemon, but maybe your team composition if you have some friends that you're playing with. Um, and the other thing is that yeah, because like you get like you guys have been seeing like page after page after page that I get at the end of these raids, right? Um, Side note: there are certain Pokemon that I love. I love Noibat, and every time I get into a raid with a Noibat, I want to catch it, but I already have like 3 of them. It's like there's no point. So you guys have seen these pages with rewards. In a 3-star raid, they're not all that impressive, but look at the numbers, right? There's like a lot of like 2s and 3s and stuff. The prices get better, and some of them get more numerous when you do higher tier raids. So that's, in my opinion, the best way to make money and get better Pokemon, right? If you walk out of a 5-star raid with the raid Pokemon, you beat it and you catch it, that raid Pokemon's stats are going to be very good already. If you can scrounge up a couple bottle caps to make it perfect, and then take all the money that you've been making on raids, and train up its and basically buy it vitamins to train up its EVs and IVs. Now you have a Pokemon that is like going to be excellent for the right types of raids, right? You guys remember we got into that. I keep forgetting there's water there. Just like, we got into that raid with that Hydreigon or whatever, and it was tough. Like I threw 3 different Pokemon at it, and it beat. It out and out beat 2 of them, but we did it with the 3rd one. So you're always going to run into raids that are difficult, even once you're all like leveled up and everything. But you're also going to run into raids that are actually downright easy if you bring the right Pokemon. So it balances out. Uh, what do I need? How many dark type? Like, I want dark type shards because I want to make my um, Dreadnought. 32. Okay, I still need a lot. Um, Also, if after that, my next project is I want to make a a similar like bug type Zangoose. It's not gonna have the same hitting power, but it learns X Zisser, which is literally as strong as Terrablast. So it's like I could do this with any normal type and Terrablast, but it's kind of more fun to do it with like a move that's actually native to the Pokemon. So yeah, I want my like bug type striker to be a Zangoose maybe. I kind of wanted it to be an Ursa Ring because then it would be a Bugbear. Get it? Um, but the only bug type move that Ursa Ring normally learns is Fury Swipes, and I don't know how good. Like, it seems like Fury Swipes would actually be very good in these raids. Um, Wait, is it Fury Swipes? No, what is it called? It's the one that starts with like 40 power, and it gets bigger every time you use it. Um, so, so I don't know how good they actually are because they start very low. And I think it has to be consecutive, so if you whiff one, you start all the way back at 40. So I don't think it's going to be very good. Harvester says, another combo a partner and I did versus something that spams status moves. I had my Sableye skill swap its Prankster onto the Raid Critter. Partners for Giraffe then blocked all of those priority status moves with Armor Tail. Whoa. That is some advanced nonsense. That's very cool. Harvey says, I enjoy the Ursa Ring is now unevolved and can benefit from the Eviolite. Yep, that is nice. Every generation we get more Pokemon. It's like people are like excited about new Pokemon, and I'm like, yeah. But now there's more Eviolite candidates. That's what I care about. Like literally, that was my first thought when they introduced they introduced Annihilate, or when they started talking about it. I was like, so what you're saying now is Primeape can use the Eviolite, but I should say Annihilate is really good. So I've definitely like come around to just liking Annihilate for what it is, which is a very powerful Pokemon. Okay, let's jump to this Dark type raid because I do want to like collect more. Actually, probably. Well, it's probably money too, because again, I just don't have like the massive like resources that they accumulated in Sword and Shield. So right now, money and Dark Terra shards are the main thing keeping me from making my Dark type Dreadnought. Oh, also I'm gonna have to see if I can actually buy the Dark Shades in a store because I don't have any. I've actually found very few items. I think a lot of the like normal battle items that you have to get from. There's a guy at at Pokemon centers that's like, hey, welcome to this specific region of Paldea. If you beat 7 trainers here, I'll give you something nice. And so I've been bad about that. I keep like not fighting trainers because I'm busy like trying to do something else, and I run by and I'm like, trainer, I should fight them, but I'm trying to like do something else. So it's going to be really annoying to then have to go around and fight those guys. Okay, this is not going to give me a lot of dark shards, but that's okay. Eviolite is a really fun game changer. B Sharp can use it too. Yeah, there you go. Which is considerable bulk. Yeah, that's a good point. Annihilate is excellent against other fighting types, dark types, or normal types. I find it struggles against ghost and psychic types. Two you would want a ghost type to counter. Yep. The thing is that Well, I'm not really sure, but I take my Annihilate in um, against ghost types and psychic types, and yeah, it's like harder, but it's very bulky. Like I have like my Annihilate is straight like to full in attack and HP, and it can do it. Like because Annihilate naturally has a high special defense, especially against psychic Pokemon. It's like pretty strong. The other thing is that one weird aspect of Terra raids is that you will often be fighting, like for example, let's say that Azumarill was something stronger, or that, or what was that? Anyway, that baby. Let's assume that it was an Azumarill. It's like if you go in and you're fighting a Dark type Azumarill, there's actually a good chance that like even if the Pokemon could learn Dark type moves, that Pokemon doesn't have any Dark type moves and doesn't have Terra Blast. So sometimes it only matters for your own offensive purposes what the Terra type is because they don't have any moves that match it, so they're not getting any bonuses. Like when you find a Pokemon who's like in a raid whose Terra type matches their own type, that's a thing. That's definitely something that you should take notice of. Possibly catch that Pokemon because it's already really strong. And again, if what you want to do is raiding, it's going to be helpful. But also, it could be a very tough fight because that Pokemon obviously was designed to be, for example, a ground type. My Hippowdon was a ground type, like a ground Terra type, and ooh, a Fairy King Gambit. This could be very difficult. Do I even have any Pokemon that are good against Fairy? I'm actually gonna try this. The Dark type moves are gonna be a problem, but I think everything else should be fine. We'll see. Harvester says, "Oh yeah, I had to backtrack a lot of those region trainers for the TM and excellent item rewards." Yeah. Harvester also says, "Oh for sure. I say all this having swept a lot of the gym re-challenges with my ape, building up 1 to 2 bulk ups, and then going to town with Drain Punch and Rage Fist Ace Tournament 2. Yeah, I did that with a Hydreigon. With like a Terra Dragon Hydreigon, so Hydreigon, Dry. So I would go in, nasty plot twice, Terrastalize, Dragon Beam, and then just like Dragon Beam like wipes out. Next Pokemon in, Dragon Beam. Next Pokemon out, Dragon Beam. Fight's over. Right, so I pretty much did that. The only one that gave me trouble was like the final champion in the post game tournament, like La Primera or whatever. Oh, I should fuck. Sorry, I need to like actually be. I keep forgetting that this is turn based, but also there's a timer. Look at all the time that I lost just from like sitting here. But anyway, yeah. Story-wise, Torment. Story-wise, it was interesting because, yeah, I wiped everybody out with that technique. So it was kind of interesting to have, like, this character who's supposed to be very good at fighting Pokemon come in and... Did it not take? Oh, I can't. Oh, because I got taunted. Okay, wait. He taunted me and he tormented me. What a jerk. So yeah, it made sense. You know, it kind of made in character sense for that like stupid degenerate technique that I was using to not work against her. But I still managed to beat her because obviously I still had a full party of high level Pokemon. I just can't do the same one twice in a row, right? That's what that means. Yeah, not doing well. Lost a lot of time chatting. The tournament was less challenging than I had been led to expect. Yeah, I was hoping for more. Yeah. Yeah, these games. Oop. Alright, I'll terrestrialize into a Shadow Ball. And actually, this will get rid of my Ghost type weakness to Dark. So. The clock is moving very fast. So I don't know if like all of my teammates have been wiped because when you get knocked out, it like pushes the time down. Like I feel like this King Gambit hasn't been doing much besides like throwing status moves at me. That's kind of cool that the ooh, it got frozen. That's cool that its blade kind of cuts through the heart. That's kind of rad. Harsh says, I also hope that after the first story required tournament, the participants will change. Yeah, I haven't gone back to redo it. But that would be nice. Yeah. This is not looking good. Yep, can't do another. So, gotta swap. I've beaten raids with the rock helmet where like the enemy just has like a sliver of hit points left, and they hit me, and the rock helmet kills them. We're not gonna make it. Yeah, King Gambit is a tough Pokemon. I don't have anything. I actually still don't have any Pokemon that are super effective against Fairy, which is something that I should correct. Maybe I should worry about that before making my Dark type Dreadnought. Alright. Yeah, probably not gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to, like, I think I'm about to bust this shield, but just, it's not gonna take, well, they're not gonna give me another turn. But if they did, I think if you bust the shield, you should automatically get a little bit of time back. Gimme the time. Give me the thing. Oh well. Pretty close. Yeah, sometimes you just have to look at a raid and be like, I don't have the Pokemon for this. And I think that I don't. Like a King Gambit that was a Dark type or a like Terra Dark or Terra Steel wouldn't be a problem, but I just don't have something that can like punch through a Fairy type easily because I don't have any. Ironically, I don't have any poison Pokemon that are like powered up enough. Yeah. It's like I have Pokemon that are weak to Fairy types. So I'm just going to pass on it. Which is too bad. If you catch this one, there's one option. Yep, that's true. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Like I don't want to do like 6 consecutive raids to maybe catch it on the last one or whatever. Think maybe we'll wrap up the stream here in like 15 minutes. So if anybody has any like burning questions or anything like that, or requests or whatever, now's the time to do it. I think in the future we will try to do some community raids. So that'll be fun. But I don't know. I don't think a lot of people who come to the like afternoon, well, afternoon for me, um, streams, like people are like at work or like coming home from work. So a lot of the time they don't have their games handy. This is just a 3-star raid. I'll just do it this way. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Yeah, yeah. Being able to talk about it will definitely help. Cause yeah, I've got this group of friends, but they, my schedule isn't great. It doesn't line up with a lot of things, and it doesn't super line up with theirs either. So a lot of the time, I'm not able to raid when they're doing it. And then also, I'm worried that they're gonna get tired of it before I get tired of it. So it'll be good to have the stream too. If I'm not tired of it, I'll be like, oh, I still want to do some raiding. Kapow. We got Pavlov, my dog. We got him a new like heating pad. So like basically we put the heating pad on his bed and then a blanket over it and it warms it up. And he loves it. And he has a bad back and I think it's been really helping. He's been sleeping a lot more. I think partially because it's like comfy to sleep in the warm bed, but also I think because his back doesn't hurt as much. So that's been nice. Deja Vu says, no burning questions, just like to say thanks for your GMing. It was very influential for my own games. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Deja Vu. It says it was very influential for my own games. Also, community raids sound fun. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Thank you for subbing. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely I'm having lots of fun with this game. I played, as you might know if you've ever watched this stream, I played Sword and Shield well into its twilight years. So I don't see any reason to not keep playing this game. Especially if, there's DLC coming and if they have, big event raids and stuff that might happen. We'll definitely keep playing it. Yeah. So, one new Pokemon or new family of Pokemon are Finizen and Palafin. I think that Finizen and Palafin are really cute, and I like them a lot. But I think that Palafin has a gimmick where it goes away and then it comes back in its superhero form. and I think that's really ugly. Like it just like I really don't like the way it looks, which is too bad because it's like a very powerful Pokemon. It kind of doesn't matter anyway because um, it's not good for raiding, and that's mostly what I build up my Pokemon to do. Because you can't access the superhero form while raiding unless somehow it counts if you die and come back. I guess it might. I should check in on that, but either way, I'm not doing it because I don't like the way it looks. I usually don't even like bother with ice types unless they have another like a really strong additional type like Fairy. So like a lowland Vulpix is good, but I really like Cetitan. I like the way it looks. It's like simultaneously really cool looking and really dorky. It's like, oh yeah, it's a whale. It's like a land whale. And I like that the accents are pink. Like it's like a very cool, interesting Pokemon. And it's good. It gets oh, I almost got that open. Shh, that's a mystery. It gets thick fat, which again, you know, when you like, I'm usually thinking about raids. Like, how good is something in a raid? Thick fat is very good for raids. It also gets slush rush, which in snow I think increases its speed. It's like speed is not necessarily all that mega important in raids, except you know if you have like a speed based strategy. So I'm like, I don't like slush rush is good, but I don't care about it. So my Cetitan has thick fat. I already have a Zangoose. But I definitely didn't find any until very late in the game. Or actually in the post game already. Okay, let's find some place to park my Dino Cycle, and we'll start wrapping up. It's a little isolated. That's good. That'll get me near some raids if I want to play later. Harvester says, I love Scovillain, though I have ended up benching it for a lot of my playthrough. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I was like, you know what? It's been a long time since I've run a Pelipper, and I caught one, and I started playing it, and I'm like, yeah, I think this particular Pelipper just doesn't have very good stats. So I had to bench it. So I was a little annoyed at that, but it happens. Okay. We'll save that. Go to that. Go to just chatting phase. Oof. Looks like somebody needs a haircut and a shave. But yeah. So we'll wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys for coming by. I wanted to thank you guys for sticking with me, even though I hadn't streamed for like a month. So it's good to have seen all of you guys back. We're gonna try to do it again next week. So if you haven't got the game, get the game. It'll be good times. If you do, maybe, and you have some Pokemon ready to raid, we might do some community raids. Like, community raids are largely going to be dependent on, like, are there enough people in the chat who want to raid, right? And by enough people, it'll probably just be one, because all I have to do is just, you know, float a code. It's actually not that difficult. In Sword and Shield, it kind of was difficult for people to actually find the raids that they were trying to get into, but in this one, at least that way, it isn't. Except, of course, when like it doesn't work at all. So that happens too. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk more about Pokemon Keep an eye on this. You can see here at the bottom. You can find me at Fearsome Critter on Twitter. Assuming that still exists next week, it'll be you can find me there. You can also go to Lopez Family Variety channel on YouTube, which is where like this whole stream is going to be posted there probably this week or next week. And also we do clips from the show there as well. And then lastly, if you're not watching this on Twitch right now, if you are watching it on YouTube or whatever, the Twitch channel is El Pikachon. So twitch.tv/El Pikachon will get you there. Come on over, tell your friends, watch the VODs to see if you're interested in like seeing what's been going on. I think I'm what's called a variety streamer because I don't stick to any one thing, but we're probably going to be doing Pokemon for a little while. So yeah, Deja Vu says you just need a code. Yeah, all you need is a code. So it'll be good times. Yeah, let me get my slate ready, and I will catch you guys later. See you hopefully next week.